Welcome to the Books, Beards, Booze podcast, where we talk books, drink booze, and have beards.
All right. As always, I am Bob of Tales by Bob.
I'm the ass of the podcast, Derek.
I am creative consultant Tanya.
Was that high pitched enough for y'all?
It was, and I
I
appreciate
kind of
that.
feel like it needs to break glass at some point.
Well,
shatter one of your voice cords.
you know what?
I'll
We'll
try.
do.
I'll
We'll
do
do
what
that.
I can.
We'll do that when as you drink more, because once you get done past this.
Yeah.
So this is the thing that I've discovered as we're sitting here recording another episode after the last episode, and I'm continuing to drink, and we still have 2 more episodes to do, and I'm going to be trashed by the time we're done.
Because you're traveling. We have to do a lot of recording today.
Yeah.
We're having to record ahead to record the episodes that while Derek will be on his cruise.
But yeah, is that we need to do these drunk again?
Yeah.
We haven't done
we
those
haven't
in a
done
while.
a
We
whole
haven't
lot
done
of the
drunk ones in a while.
boozing.
Yeah.
Well, what we need to do...
My birthday one, I think,
So
was the last
I've been
one.
thinking, like, we need to just start doing some bonus episodes where we just talk about a book that maybe is not the bi-monthly book club,
Yes.
but like a book that maybe we've all read that's not bi-monthly, or at
I'm-
least 2 of us have read,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And we
I'm
just get shit-faced while
So
doing it.
down.
4 flats down
Oh
for
my
that.
god, that
Yeah.
sounds like literally what I want to do every weekend
Okay.
with my life.
So
Okay.
we'll tackle that. All right. So this week for this episode, if you weren't aware, this is like mental health awareness
May
month.
is Mental Health Month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why they chose May.
Because it's your birthday.
And you're nuts.
That's
Yes.
fair. But I would have thought that, like, why not do it like in the winter, like with like seasonal, like what is it?
Depression
SAD, seasonal-
syndrome,
yeah,
stuff like
seasonal
that.
affective
Yeah. Well,
disorder or depression.
disorder.
SAD normally hits actually like January, February. So you have time. Because
That's when really winter.
Well, that and then like you've got the changing of the days in November, December. It kind of takes some time to build up to the point where you're like, fuck everything about life.
Yeah.
You get over the hump of a holidays because that kind of I have that seasonal thing, and so like I can power through the holidays. I'm like work is real busy, and I got the holidays, but then
Well,
come
yeah,
January,
most people
February,
aren't that though. Most
Yeah.
people holidays kick their
Yeah,
ass.
Yeah, well, I work retail, and so like I'm always just like
Yeah.
amped.
You don't
amped,
have time to get
I don't.
gas,
I
yeah.
don't. And so like Christmas gets me through that, but then come January, February is normally my worst month because things
letdown.
have
Built up.
Yeah, because like the
And then you
It's
get
also
older.
your birthday, and
Yeah.
you are the worst. So
You don't talk about her like that.
Yeah,
she
you
was
don't-
born in the same month as me.
yeah.
Yeah, same month as me.
February people are best people. Fucking May
Shortest
person over
month?
there.
May, baby.
Best people.
Hey.
Yeah, it's because they didn't have to stretch out all that
hey.
awesome in a whole month. They
Hey.
just
That's
had
right.
to
They
condense
condensed
down
it
into
into
28
us.
days.
Yo.
It's gonna be May.
Okay.
So anyways, let's continue.
This is supposed to be kind of a serious episode. Let's stop.
Well,
as
then y'all
serious
brought
as
in
we
the
ever
wrong
get.
Yeah.
person.
All right, so I just want
Mental
to
health care is important.
Yeah,
It is.
So
You're talking. Look,
here's some
I love
resources.
therapy.
Here-
I've been
yeah.
very open about that.
Yeah,
do.
Yeah,
I
therapy's great.
try to be open about it, not because like I need everybody to know my business,
but
but
remove the stigma.
it's helpful to
it's
people.
really not that big a deal.
Yeah, remove the
Everybody
stigma.
struggles.
Everyone on this
Go-
podcast has gone to therapy at some point, and it has helped all of us.
Oh, tremendously.
Yeah, therapy
So-
is best.
So if you are in that thinking like maybe you need some help, go to mentalhealth.gov. It has a ton of resources on there.
Yep.
But if you need immediate, like, holy fuck, I'm struggling, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA, has a national helpline. It's free and it's confidential. It's 24/7, 365 day a year. It's treatment, referral, and information in English and Spanish for individuals and families facing mental and or substance use disorders. And it is 1-800-662-HELP or 4357 if you can't figure that out. But 1-800-662-4357, 1-800-662-HELP. That is the SAMHSA.
I'm gonna smash
National
the taste
helpline.
out your mouth.
There's also apps that you can use.
I
That
just-
you can text a counselor if you feel better talking through
Yeah,
text.
I
That's
used,
an option.
What is it, Better Health?
Better Health or
Yeah.
Better Help or what was it?
Yeah, but that's a paid thing.
Well,
as
a lot of
well.
times they'll give you a
it's-
free
Yeah,
week
well,
or
and it's
something.
still
like that.
Yeah.
for some people it's still cheaper than going in person
True.
because like
True.
my insurance is being janky, so like me going to therapy is costing $150, but a lot of therapists will work with you on that. Like mine is capping it at $50, so she's waiving that extra 100.
Yeah.
So there are
Well,
resources
and like
out
me,
there for you. if
Me,
you
when
want
I
it.
went, the county I was in offered income-based mental
Sliding
health care,
scale things,
and I
yeah.
only had to pay $10 a session at the time.
Yeah. Well, what is the name of it? Better Help. I forget.
The app.
Yeah. Basically, I suggest that because when I was going through my difficulties, I wasn't sure just how bad it was. So they gave a free week of talking about things with therapists, and I got a hold of somebody, and they were like, "No, yeah, you definitely need to go see somebody," and that was the impetus that I was like, "Okay, well, now I know for sure this is a thing that needs to be taken care of."
Yeah. Also, if you're in college, your college will typically have at a minimum, they will have questionnaires that you can take to determine if you are depressed or social anxiety, things like that. And they very frequently will have on-campus counseling, or at least will give you referrals elsewhere.
Yeah.
So,
also, if you are the victim of any kind of crime, there are tons of therapy organizations out there that will provide short or long-term therapy to help you through that's literally what I do for my job.
Yeah.
So I
have another thing while we're talking about like resources that help you. 12-step programs. Like, if you have a loved one in your life who is struggling with alcohol or drugs or whatever, or if your parent was an alcoholic, any of those things, there are family groups, 12-step family groups. They're free. They typically meet at churches. But just look up Narcotics Nar-Anon. It's the family version of Narcotics Anonymous. That was invaluable for me. So I mean, there are people out there. You are definitely not alone, no matter what your situation is.
And again, a lot of these resources, mentalhealth.gov has just a ton of resources. And like if they don't have the information, it can typically kind of point you in the direction you need to go. And you can also just, wherever you're at, just punch in like mental health, your county, and it'll show you what there is. And like I said, a lot of counties will do income-based repayment, like income-based payment, stuff like that.
If you find a counselor and you don't like them, there are more.
Yeah,
Find someone else who fits for you.
That's probably the biggest thing. Like I got really lucky when I went to therapy.
Same.
First person she was great. But I have known numerous people that have gone to a therapist and they didn't like the therapist, so they quit going.
Yeah.
And fuck that. But I've also known people that went to a therapist that didn't like them, and they just went to a different therapist, and then they found, like, you got to find someone that fits you. Just because the first person you go to, you don't like them, there are thousands of therapists out there. In your area, unless you live in bumfuck, within an hour's drive, there are going to be multiple
people that want to help you.
Yeah. So,
like, my high school therapists were garbage, but the lady that I see now is... Oh, he wanted me to draw pictures of God because that was my problem. I was like, okay, guy, okay. So it didn't work for me because I didn't like him. His style didn't fit what I needed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the lady that I see now
probably would work great for other people.
Yeah, it was probably really great for them. But the lady I see now is fantastic. So if you find somebody and you don't like them, it's not the therapy that you don't like. It's probably just that counselor. Go find someone else. There are more. It's like a dentist or a regular family doctor. There are lots of them.
Yeah.
Or
try someone else.
Or literally anything else. Like,
mechanic. I don't like
that
this mechanic.
pizza. I didn't like that topping on that pizza.
Exactly.
Well, that's ridiculous.
No, all pizza's good pizza.
But
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I mean, pretty much, is there a bad therapy?
Yes.
Oh no, there
therapy.
definitely
Yes.
can be
There-
with
Yeah,
negligent people
You're
that
right.
don't know.
You're
what
And
they're
there's
doing.
also
You're right.
like gay conversion
That's why, yeah,
therapy and
conversion
stuff like
therapy.
that.
Yeah,
like
that's
fuck all that.
Yeah, fuck that.
All right.
But yeah, mental health, it's important. Go
So
get help.
because of that, because of this being this month, we decided that we were going to talk about some good representation of mental illness that we have come across in books.
Now, since we've gotten past here's the helpful things, I'm going to go ahead and say that moving forward, while discussing a serious topic, I'm not going to be very serious.
Oh yeah, no. Feel free.
We've done the serious portion of this podcast.
No, I mean, it's a serious topic, but we'll probably
We're gonna us it up.
We're gonna be us.
Now it's time to fuck off.
We
Got
are
it.
who we are. So, all right. So I had a couple of runners up, and then my best representation. What about y'all? What did y'all bring?
I
I got all kinds of shit.
Okay.
I have one kind of jokey one, and then another runner-up, and then the one that I think is
Okay, well, I'll start us off with one, and then we'll just kind of go in a circle.
okay.
All right. So my runner-up was The Narrows by Travis M. Riddle. It's a horror novel on Kindle Unlimited. I love this book so much. It's one of those books that lingered with me for days afterwards.
The Narrows.
The Narrows. But you and I really want us to read this on the podcast. I want us
Okay.
to read it. But so anyway, it's if you took every horror element out of this book, it would be still just this amazing book about dealing with the loss of friendships and coping with a suicide. The instigating factor of this book is this cluster of friends from high school that have like stayed friends afterwards. One of their friends killed himself. They have no idea why, and they return to their hometown for the funeral.
I think I remember you talking about this.
It's
Yeah.
great, but it's none of the people in it really, like none of the characters have necessarily like these mental issues, but it shows like how they come to cope with this suicide. And it also is like the guy who committed suicide had been one of their like core clique, but he moved away and drifted away, and they don't really know why. Just kind of coming like, sometimes friendships end. How do
Yeah.
you deal with that? And it is just fantastic. Travis M. Riddle is he can throw some emotional punches like a champ. And I can pronounce his name, unlike the champs in the last episode.
Look that shit up.
Actual champs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Trizzle.
I don't know how we can have a conversation about mental health in books and not talk about Winnie the Pooh. About,
Eeyore.
I mean,
How dare you?
okay.
Wow.
So
No, I mean, you write. When you write, you write.
Okay, but it's not just-
Tigger had ADHD.
it's not just
All of them.
All of them. Okay, so that wasn't actually what the writer set out. Milne. I'm gonna bob it up. I know that's the name you're supposed to know.
And Derek is named after
I am.
Christopher Robin, right?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
You don't know this?
Yes.
middle name's Robin?
He really is.
No, it's Christopher.
Oh,
When my parents found out that
yeah.
they were pregnant, you know how you're supposed to
It was
try
really
and get...
just your mom who was pregnant.
I'm gonna smack you. Nowadays, that we're not.
Hey.
Anyways, but look, the point is, one of the things that most people say is a good idea is to try and get the other child invested. Like, this is
Oh, and
your
your brother
baby.
was gonna name you Christopher Robin.
They were trying to get him involved. It's like, you're gonna have a baby too. Like,
Yes.
this is your baby.
Yeah.
And he was like, "This is awesome. Can I help name it?" And they're like, "Absolutely, you can. What do you want to name?" He's like, "Christopher Robin."
Oh,
Because
he
he
loved.
loved.
That's an adorable name, though.
Yeah, he really loved Winnie the Pooh. So they were like, "Well, we're gonna name him Derek, but we'll give him the middle name is Christopher for Christopher
Oh my
Robin."
god! I just had a moment where bitch, did I just say that your name was Christopher Robin? I know your name is Derek. What is wrong with me?
You dumb. That's
What?
all.
Wow.
But so
That's where the Christopher came in.
Yeah.
DCW. Okay,
and
great.
then
Okay.
then my brother gave
Yikes.
me what? No, he gave me a Care Bear. But eventually, I got a Winnie the Pooh doll from him as well.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Nice.
But yeah, so it wasn't intentional, but at some point, some psychologists went back. It was like, all right, let's make a haha paper, and we're gonna break down these people. 'Cause, like people do that. They go, ooh, what is their Myers-Briggs type?
Oh yeah.
So this person went through and made a scholarly paper diagnosing all of the Winnie the Pooh characters.
I just want to point out that I think it's real cute that you think that that's a joke. No, they're serious when they do that.
No,
It's ridiculous a lot of times.
there was humor
But-
in this paper. Like, it wasn't supposed to be intentional, but anyway,
if it was-
anyway, Pooh has impulse control. Piglet has real bad anxiety. Roo is allegedly autistic. Tigger's got ADHD. Eeyore's super depressed. Rabbit's got OCD. Kanga's got social anxiety. Owl is dyslexic. But really, I like the Eeyore depression thing because that does feel like the thing. He's like, okay. But none of his friends...
I know that feeling.
But none of his friends shit on him. They were like, all right.
We'll just hang out with you."
Eeyore's just being
Yeah.
Eeyore. It's cool. You can be a sad sack. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really good to show, like, has a friend how to deal with someone who has depression. Like,
Yeah.
just go be with them.
I think it's
they're
a
going to be
thi-
a sad sack. That's cool. That's you.
I think it's
That's
one of,
them.
I don't know if
fine.
it's from the show or
Uh-huh.
book or whatever it was, but like there's a scene where he's just like, "I'm feeling really bad today," and they're like, "Cool, we'll just feel bad with you. We'll
Yeah,
just
we'll just be
kind
here.
of chill."
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Winnie the Pooh.
Nice.
The Thousand
Derek,
Acre Wood.
What you
Okay,
got?
so the way I interpreted this was to look at characters who were good representations.
Yeah.
Oh, the rest of mine are
Of-
that. My
okay,
other two are that way.
okay.
Yeah.
So
None of mine are that. Well, one is, but yeah.
the first one that I thought of, which you will get and
Okay.
you won't, although you have this book, I think, and will probably read it eventually, is from book 1 of the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, Kaladin Stormblessed. When
Okay.
he was a slave, he was insanely depressed.
As I imagine most people
Yeah.
who have been enslaved are.
Right, but
But
it spoke to me on at a certain time in my life.
yeah.
But just it, and also part of it is when there's I can't remember exactly if it's when there's a storm or when there's no storms, because of what he is. There's no stormlight to feed off. It messes with his emotions, like where he's super down all the time.
Okay.
And
So he has like seasonal depression, like light depression, basically.
right,
kind of.
basically.
I dig that.
Nice.
And it, like that was one of the first times where I was
that's
reading
a,
it, and
that's
I
a
was
really
like,
good character
that's
overall.
really accurate compared to like, but also it's also a really good representation of how to get yourself out of it, because it find a purpose, find something to strive towards, and he
Yeah.
finds something, anything, doesn't matter what, and he makes that more important than himself,
Yeah.
and that helped him dig his way out of it.
I like it. I like it. So my next runner-up is the Goblin Emperor.
Really?
Because think of, I can't remember the character's name. The Goblin Emperor.
Maya?
Maya. Fuck me, yeah.
That's his name, but he's Edrisizer the
Yeah, it's like
15th
something
or
stupid.
something.
But
I forget.
Maya, just the reason I liked about it is because Maya is sitting there like has like social anxiety basically, like is always freaking out, like, oh my god, everyone's judging me, da da da,
And
and then
no
you come to
one
find out
is.
no one's like. Sure, like the bad guy is being a bad guy, but like everyone else that he thinks
good-
is like
really good.
hardcore judging him, none of them are
By the-
actually
yeah,
judging him.
That's really good, because like that's the whole, in my opinion, it's kind of the main point of the whole book, is like he thinks people are interpreting him, interpreting his actions a certain way and viewing
not,
him in a
though.
negative way, and then by the end of the book, everyone's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, no,
like
we
that's
think
not.
we think you're great. Like, look at what all you've
Look
done.
what you've done,
And he
like-
sits there thinking like, God, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
But everyone is like,
Ooh,
oh my
can
God,
relate.
look at what you've done.
Can relate.
yeah,
So, yeah,
well,
it-
that's what I liked so much
Yeah,
about
so
it.
that's
was
why
because
I thought it was,
Yeah.
and it was my winner up until I could not believe I had forgotten what was my winner.
But
So-
no, that's a really good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, 'cause,
I
it-
completely forgot
It wasn't
about that.
like it's not like he was like crippled by social anxiety, but he was heavily affected by it.
It just shows distorted thinking, which
Yeah.
was my biggest problem when I went to therapy. It was just like
Yeah.
imposing my opinions of what other people are feeling. Like I have no idea what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's not concern ourselves with it.
Yeah, I mean, I
Assuming-
know what all
assuming
of
that
y'all are
I-
thinking because I'm like omnipotent, but yeah,
Are you though?
No.
it's what helps me be so right.
Yikes.
When are you going to start that?
Any day now. Any day now. I'm making moves, Derek. I'm making moves.
You know how he like speaks things into existence? I think this whole like I'm right. That's
Yeah,
just
it's
him
gotta
really
it's
trying
gotta
to
Gotta happen
at some
eventually.
point.
speaking it to be true. Yikes.
All right, Tanya, what's your number 2?
Okay. I actually have not read this book, but it's
Okay.
on my TBR, and everything I hear about it's really good. So I'm going to tell you what I know about it.
Okay.
It's Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman. Shusterman.
I'm gonna need y'all to-
Shusterman. Shusterman. Shusterman.
I wish you would have shushed with that pronunciation. Like,
It's a really faithful depiction of schizophrenia, which I think,
I don't know
which
much about.
intrigues me in general. But this kid is in high school, Caden, and he's described everyone's like really brilliant, but what they don't know is he's been struggling with schizophrenia, and so like dealing with that. So it's on my TBR. It's something I want to read, but everything I hear about it is real good, and it's like a super faithful depiction of schizophrenia. I was trying to think of something that wasn't like depression.
I used to be
depression,
so
depression,
worried
depression.
that I was developing schizophrenia that there's an image that of a mask that if it appears concave, you don't have schizophrenia. If it appears convex, you do have schizophrenia. And I set that as my desktop wallpaper for a long time,
Just to test yourself?
just to test myself.
I do that with like autism tests. Like
Yeah.
legit. Like, am I autistic?
Yeah.
I
Probably
mean,
a little
like
bit.
legit, probably somewhere there on that, but
Oh
it's
my
probably.
There. What you got?
So I'm gonna change what I was gonna say next because
Yeah, I saw you had a startling revelation over there.
I didn't even think about this, and I'm gonna mention this book, and I think you'll remember it. Yeah, I don't think you've read it, but
Okay.
I read it when we were working together. I am not a serial killer, or I am a serial
by
killer.
Dan Wells?
Yeah, Dan Wells.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not a serial killer. Yeah.
I love how I was talking. You're like, oh, that reminds me,
Well, no,
Tanya.
Well,
You
because you
mentioned
are a
kid-
serial killer.
That too, but also you mentioned like a kid in school.
Yeah.
Like this whole story
Yeah,
is
that's
about
the moment where he like threw his hands up, like revelation moment. He's
Yeah.
a kid in school, and he's like,
Yeah,
Da-da-da.
basically, there's this kid who
I'm helpful.
who is he's a serial killer.
Yeah.
He hasn't killed anybody yet.
Yeah.
That's because he realized, oh shit, I have all the signs of this.
Yeah, I
So
should not
he-
go kill the people.
So he enforced rules on himself. I cannot do these things. Like
Yeah.
if I notice that I'm taking too much of an interest in a single person at school,
Yeah.
I cannot go anywhere near them for the next 2 weeks or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
just
Oh,
I
I
have
dig
to
that.
avoid them
I dig
and stuff
that.
like that. And then he comes into contact with an actual monster
Ooh.
that is serial killing,
Yeah.
and it's about him trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. It's a fascinating book.
yeah, it's
And it's a young adult book,
Which
but it
one
was-
I definitely want to read. He's written more in that series.
He
too.
has.
But
There's a
I
movie.
want to read it.
There's a
Oh,
movie of the first book.
Really?
Yeah, which I did not find out about until recently, and I was like,
Huh.
"Wait, what the fuck?"
Yeah, I want to read those books.
Dan Wells is one of the authors on the
Writing
podcast
Excuses.
Writing Excuses
I
with
know the
Brandon
name.
Sanderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the name.
All right, so my winner, and I know Derek has read this, and I could not believe I forgot this, but I think I know why I forgot it.
I probably won't.
Because it's not a book; it's a comic book. Little Depressed Boy.
Oh man!
Little Depressed Boy
Perfect.
is the best
Yeah.
representation of mental
Yeah.
illness in media. I think it is so
accurate.
so realistic.
Yeah.
Just as I'm reading, it's like relatable. I can see
Yeah.
where he's coming from. Like
I've
Little
been there.
Depressed Boy
Yeah.
is amazing. One day that guy's going to write more of it. I just know.
Well, hopefully
I just
he's
know.
no longer being little depressed boy, and then he's moving on to happy things and doesn't have.
Nah,
the sad
he
things
probably
to worry
still
about.
lives.
I know
in-
where it ended, and it's
Yeah.
not ending in a terrible place. But it's not ending in a great place.
No, but I mean, like maybe the author is not in a sad sack anymore. So
Well,
not-
he said that. Well, I don't know about that, but he has said that the intention is always to write more of it. He
Yeah.
just hasn't. So,
Can
but yeah, Little Depressed Boy.
yeah, really good.
Amazing.
Really good.
It's
Yeah.
about a guy who in the comic he's just referred to as LDB, and everyone else is drawn like fairly realistic style.
He looks like a rag doll.
but
or
he looks
something.
like he's drawn like a rag doll, and so it's really cool.
I enjoy those comics a lot.
It,
I'm glad I
they're
borrowed them from you.
really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Tanya, what you got?
Okay, so my top pick is the character Esther Greenwood. It's from The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. That book is very, very accurate with a depiction of depression, to the point that I have to be careful about when I read it.
Okay.
Because if I'm already sad, it's going to make me be real bad. But if I'm not confident in like I'm feeling really good,
Yeah.
then it's going to put me in a spiral. Like it's incredibly accurate. Esther struggles with like perfection and being an overachiever, and she's like, a quote is essentially like, I've always been not good enough. I've just never taken the time to realize it. And so it's just, she's got a lot of anxiety and depression, and I too struggle with that and like perfectionism and trying to overachieve things. It's just super relatable. Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Sylvia Plath killed herself like a month after it was published.
Yeah.
Like
Damn.
it's semi-autobiographical of sorts. There's a lot of parallels there, but sadly enough, the people who I think generally write the best depictions of mental health issues have the mental health issues.
Yeah.
So like it's really good. I would just caution you to read carefully.
Yeah.
Like,
I just want to
stop
point
if you
out.
need to stop.
Yeah, if you are concerned about your perfectionism,
I'm fine. Don't
You're
worry
all
about
right.
it.
You're good.
Yikes.
You're good.
Yikes. I love that, like, gentle pat on the shoulder, like, oh, sweetie, you're fine.
The low key savagery that escalates to high key savagery on this podcast is what gets me through the week.
Oh, you're the best friends anyone could have.
It's like our D&D group, our
man.
group chat in between sessions is savage. Like, to the point that sometimes you're like, are we even friends? Like, come
Oh,
on.
and I'm pretty convinced no one likes me. They just bring me along because
Hey,
I'm a fourth.
no, that
No,
that
Mia.
is not accurate.
Yeah.
We like you.
Well, you're not in that group.
Oh, trust me,
Fair.
everyone just shits on everyone. It's savagely
I can see
great.
where they would shit on you. That's easy.
Oh,
but
right?
Derek,
Ooh.
like, you're a likable person.
All right, Derek, what's your
The ass of the podcast is so considerate. No, I actually have a couple of. See, a lot of my favorite characters are characters who have very serious flaws. We'll say, and so 3 of them, since they are the ones that I have left.
I'm guessing Fitz.
Chivalry Farseer,
Yeah.
who has to deal with a lot of depression, loneliness. Like, he is a singular person in the books, deprived of a lot of common courtesy and connection that he just can't have because of the
Yeah.
people around him and the
Because
who he
reasons,
is.
yeah.
Basically. And it's one of the best depictions of what it's like to be insanely lonely, find somebody to help you out of that, and then lose that person. It's tough. It's a tough.
I'm guessing
read.
number 2 is modern day Quoth.
No, it is Rand al'Thor, because in those books he goes fucking crazy.
He does.
Like,
he does.
and it's really interesting to see what path that takes, because most of the time he still is fairly fine,
Yeah.
but there are certain things that just set him off, and he can't deal with it because of the insanity. But
Yeah.
and I would have more to say if I wasn't as drunk as I am. But the last one, which
Is it Ari from Slow Regard of
it is
Things?
not. It is not. I didn't mention anything from Rothfuss.
Okay.
Because I purposely try to avoid Rothfuss.
Yeah, no. But I gotta say, Ari from Slow Regard of Silent Things, that's a great.
Yeah.
Like,
that
she
I didn't
is.
think
she,
of
she, yeah, I didn't think of it till just now.
Yeah.
But she's great. But yeah.
One of my favorite, and this is actually
I thought about Ari, but I was like, is it mental illness or is it you've been alone in a sewer?
Have you read Slow Regard of Silent Things?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear it's
I don't-
mental illness.
Well, I don't know if it's mental illness. I just think she's literally broken.
Yeah,
Like,
I
know
think
if-
she's
is that a
been tossed aside and lives in a sewer and she doesn't
I
have
don't-
contact. I don't know if some of it's maybe mental illness, but I don't know if it's just deprivation.
Something drove
Broke.
her to that point.
yeah.
And
I'm-
so
She's the most interesting part probably about that
Yeah.
world, except for someone who will come up in one of the episodes we record later.
Okay.
But the last
Bast,
one,
because Bast is the best.
oh, Bast is best, but no.
need the
And this
lightning
is
tree.
a character that we mentioned previously, and I have not thought about in a long time, but this brought up Richard Cypher, the main character of a Wizard's First Rule,
Yeah.
which is
He doesn't he get like tortured to the point
in the
of insanity?
Yeah, in the first book, he gets tortured to the point of insanity, and while he's tortured, he's forced to wear a collar. And he then associates that collar with all the insanity and pain
Yeah.
and depredation. And in the second book, spoiler alert, the woman he loves to save his life asks him to put on a collar.
We feel
And he-
pretty good in spoiling that because you
'cause it's-
shouldn't read the second. Just read the first book and stop
Not-
there.
The first 3 books are worth reading, but afterwards, I don't know. But yeah, there's a scene where he puts on that collar, and it's one of the most fucked up things I've ever like. Just
Okay.
it's painful, and then he puts it on and is like shattered,
Yeah.
and it's tough.
Tanya, you look like you had something you wanted
I did.
to say real quick.
I remembered somebody. Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames,
Yeah.
the character
Oh, yeah.
Bloody Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem mental illness-y, but definitely like she's struggling
Got
with
a
some
complex.
addiction.
Oh,
and
and-
she's
and that,
you know like
yeah.
daddy issues basically, but like she's got that addiction to
Well, like it's not a
belief and that
mental
kind of stuff.
illness, but therapy would do her a world.
Well,
of
the
good.
addiction
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
The
yeah, the
addiction,
addictions,
and then
yeah.
like you know she struggles with being a mom and showing that type of softness and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Isn't there a
So-
third book in that?
It's coming.
Oh, I'm so
Not-
excited.
yeah. All right, so
We'll do an episode on that.
We have a bit of personal mental illness that we need to address now. So on the ride up here, I said
God.
we're going to talk about this in the last episode.
Oh.
So this
What
is
did I-
we're talking about it.
I don't
So Tanya
This is an
revealed to
intervention,
me
Tanya.
that she was going to,
Be
as a
eaten by
challenge to
cats?
herself,
No.
was going to listen to Atlas Shrugged.
Oh.
The book that she got
Hates.
12 hours in, hates violently, could not finish, quit reading it. Is like, well, I'm just going to start it back. And because it's a challenge to myself. And I was like, Tanya, you can like,
You know what else is a challenge to yourself? Cutting off your hands.
yeah, like you could cut off a finger every day for 10 days. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's a good challenge.
No. Or a good for you.
But a lot of other people really
No.
like it.
Yes, but you don't.
They like it for philosophical
It's
reasons. If you
52 hours
It is
long.
52 hours long.
52 hour audiobook, and you haven't even got to the worst parts of it. You were 12 hours in, and the first part is at least passable,
It's
apparently.
mostly just boring.
well, look, here's the
You
thing.
don't like this book. Life is
Yeah,
too short.
stop it.
Stop. Stop.
Stop.
Y'all, listeners, should I actually try to get through Atlas Shrugged? Is it worth it?
Tanya,
Email Booksbeardsbooze because I have that email account, and if you say yes, I'm not going to read it to her.
Tweet me. I'm at
Bob,
Booksweird. BBB
Bob, remind me to
pod
send you
_ Tanya.
a deep dive
On
email onto why she shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Actually, I will. If you email the podcast and you address us, at this point we're small enough that I will address.
Guarantee you
I
that
will
it's
address
addressed.
all the stuff on the air. If we blow up and we're getting like 20 emails an episode, you can go fuck yourself. But
Yeah.
right now, if you email us, I will.
What are you talking about? We'll just do a fan mail episode every
We will.
week.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to get to the point where we can start doing fan mail episodes. I would love that. Send us fan mail.
Well,
So yeah.
I just feel like I don't like having things be undone. I have 3 books that I DNF'd. One of them was god fucking awful, and I'm just not gonna do it.
Atlas Shrugged.
No, the other one was Atlas Shrugged, and I don't remember what the other one was. It was some like The Last Girl by
52 hours is over 2 days of your life that you will never get back listening to a book you don't like.
But then I can have
No.
the satisfaction
No.
of saying I did the
No.
thing I didn't want to do, like exercise.
How
I
is that
hate
a good thing?
exercising.
No, but
No.
here's the thing: if you exercise, you do the thing you don't want to do. There's a good result from that. Like
Is
you are
there?
healthier.
Yes.
Oh,
But
my legs hurt.
Atlas Shrugged,
I got sweaty.
the best result that comes of reading Atlas Shrugged is you become head of the House of Representatives.
Like
'Cause
legit-
that was.
But they make so much more money.
but you don't want that.
Well,
They
you don't
take-
want that life.
They
You don't
take
want that
all
life.
those bribes. They get all that money. They get all their
'Cause what
shit
was
for
it?
the rest of their
Who's the guy?
life.
Tanya, you would not keep your mouth shut about the bribes you were getting.
You would buy.
like they do.
You would buy a lot of stupid shit for your cats.
And everyone,
And
would,
everyone would
notice.
know. And everyone would know.
People would
I
see your
wouldn't-
cats flying
That's
drones.
the
in
bribes
the,
I want to take. You don't
when
get me
Bama's
treats.
fat
you get
ass
cat
is
treats.
being carried from food
I want
bowl
them
to
to have
water bowl
a
by
mansion.
a drone.
Yes, I want a mansion cat house. That's the bribe I want.
So
I'll read
I like how
Atlas
we're
Shrugged
talking
for
about
it.
mental health issues when we're sitting here
Oh,
next
she's a
to
crazy cat lady.
Yep.
Wait, stop. Serious. There's actually a reason for the crazy cat lady syndrome. Cats have toxoplasmosis.
Oh no, are we getting into
Wait.
this? I'm well aware of
No,
this.
we're
well
done.
aware.
No, we're done.
Toxoplasmosis.
We're done with
No,
I
this.
I
know.
am finishing
I
this.
know.
So it makes mice. It infects mice. It makes
Makes them
mice
sexually
docile.
attracted
No.
to the urine of cats. It does.
No, it makes them docile to cats. It doesn't make them
No.
sexually attractive. What the?
No,
what,
it does.
Where are you at in the internet,
does.
Derek?
Oh my god!
It makes
no.
them-
We're not. We're not. No. I'm.
No,
I'm
they
I'm
will
putting my foot
literally-
down.
Seek out cats.
Yeah, it makes them really docile to cats.
It's not
so the cats can
docile.
eat them.
They
Oh my
literally.
God.
Okay.
Oh my god!
So crazy cat ladies, they scoop all the cat poo, and you get
You
get
get
the toxoplasmosis,
toxoplasmosis,
which
yeah.
makes you docile to cats, and then the cats, you just want all the cats. There was a cat that showed up at his house
No.
the other
okay,
night.
we're done. We're done with this episode.
I fed
We're
it
done
a
with this
whole
episode.
pack of ham. I just was flinging ham at the back door because I wanted to pet that cat so bad because it was so sad. It was like meow 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 meow.
My
meow.
naibor's cat.
I'm gonna come upside this woman's
That's
head.
fair.
I
All
fed
right.
it a whole pack of ham.
In the coming week, as you approach your week, may it be like the gentle curvature of freshly drawn blinds that shade you from the worst of the sun's light.
Could you come up with better
And-
outros?
And may the
My
blessing
God.
of the beard be upon you.
Oof. Thanks for listening to this episode of Books, Beards, Booze. Our co-hosts are Bob, Derek, and Tanya. Our producer is Bob. For more information, visit our website, booksbeardsbooze.com. Follow our social media at Tales by Bob. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.